Marco Bezzecchi crashed out of the Brno Sprint, ran to his Aprilia and shoved the Marshal trying to help him. The clip went around the world in minutes, and the verdict was instant. Entitled, "Spoiled. A coward who hit a defenceless volunteer." The ban came down, Aprilia's appeal got thrown out, and the comments wanted more than a one-race suspension. They wanted his reputation gone. But the one person nobody thought to ask just spoke, and the Marshal Bezzecchi struck did not say what the world expected. So what actually happened in those few seconds on the gravel? And why is the victim defending the man everyone calls a bully? This is not a feel-good follow-up. When the victim of an incident finally talks, he usually confirms what we already believe. This time, he did the opposite. What he revealed does not just soften Bezzecchi. It changes the story of who did what in those few seconds, and whether MotoGP punished the right thing. Bezzecchi did not lose some minor race. He is the championship leader, and the ban cost him a full Sunday at Brno, points left on the table, while his own Aprilia teammate, Jorge Martin, now sits just 8 points behind him. The cost is very real. The villain might not be. Here is what the footage actually shows. Bezzecchi crashes at turn 3 on the penultimate lap of the sprint, and his Aprilia ends up in the gravel with the engine still running. Marshals move in to recover it, the way they do every weekend, the routine nobody ever films. Then the bike revs, loud, sudden, right next to a rider who has just binned a top 5 finish. Bezzecchi turns, gets physical, and strikes the Marshal twice before storming off. On a normal weekend, that footage does not exist. This was not a normal weekend. The stewards acted fast. Bezzecchi was banned from Sunday's Czech Grand Prix for pushing and striking a Marshal, a punishment almost never aimed at a championship leader mid-weekend, with a title fight still on the line. Aprilia did not take it quietly. Team manager Paolo Bonora and motorsport boss Massimo Rivola appealed that same Saturday evening. A separate appeals panel rejected it within the hour. The ban stood, and Aprilia chose not to escalate any further. By Sunday morning, Bezzecchi was not hiding. He posted a public apology, then walked trackside during warm-up to find the Marshal in person, and apologised face-to-face. To most viewers, it looked like damage control from a man who got caught. But the Marshal standing in front of him had seen something the audience never could, and when he finally described it, the clean little story of bully and victim started to come apart. His name is Ladislav, and until this week, nobody bothered to learn it. He is a volunteer, unpaid, who gives up his weekend to stand in a gravel trap so riders like Bezzecchi can race. And when he finally spoke to TNT Sports, he did not describe an attack. He described a mistake. His own. Here is the detail the angry clips quietly skip. Listen to how Ladislav tells it. "I did my job. I went for the bike and I picked it up. I pressed the clutch and tried to pick it up because it was still on, and the bike started rolling. So I wanted to put it back down and it revved up." Think about what that means. The throttle blip that set Bezzecchi off, the sound that looked like a rider screaming at a helpless man, came from the Marshal's own hands on the machine, not on purpose, by accident, while doing exactly what he was there to do, recover a fallen bike. That single detail rewrites the clip. Bezzecchi did not stroll up to a man standing still and attack him for no reason. He reacted, badly, to a live MotoGP bike revving a metre from his body, loud and alive, seconds after a crash. Ladislav understood instantly. "He probably thought that I did it on purpose," the Marshal said. "It was a pure accident." The person the internet cast as the helpless victim is the one telling you the rider misread him. That is not the story the headline sold on Saturday night. And here is where it gets uncomfortable for everyone who piled on. Ladislav was not angry. He had every right to be, and he chose the exact opposite. "I understand him and I wish him the best of luck," he said. "It really matters to me that he apologised. The man who got shoved, on camera, in front of the world, is the one offering grace, asking for nothing. The millions who never went near that gravel trap are the ones still demanding blood. None of this makes the shove acceptable. and Bezzecchi knows that better than anyone. This behaviour shouldn't happen, and there is no justification for it, he said in his apology. He is right, but there is a canyon between a man who coldly attacks a defenceless volunteer and a man who panicked at a revving bike and lashed out at the wrong target in 2 ugly seconds. The crowd convicted him of the first. The victim is describing the second. So why the ban? And why so fast? This is where Aprilia's reaction matters. Rivera did not fight it because he thought the shove was fine. He fought it because of how the punishment sat next to everything that came before it. The reason why we appealed at the beginning was that we felt the disproportion from the action to the penalty, according to what we saw in other cases. Similar cases in the past, Rivera said. Translate that into paddock language. Riders have clipped officials, blown past Marshal instructions, and pulled dangerous moves under yellow flags, then lined up the next day. Bezzecchi lost an entire Grand Prix as the points leader inside a single evening with the cameras rolling. Aprilia's question was never, is he guilty? It was why this much, this fast for this one man. Aprilia accepted the outcome anyway and chose not to drag it any higher, and that is the real flip. People thought this story was about a spoiled rider with no respect for the volunteers who keep him alive. It was really about how quickly a few seconds of phone footage turns into a verdict, and how a sport behaves when it knows the whole planet is already watching. The Marshal needed one honest conversation to forgive Bezzecchi. The stewards needed one evening to ban him. The crowd needed nothing at all, because it had already decided before anyone with skin in the game said a word. So here is the verdict. Marco Bezzecchi did something indefensible, and he has not tried to defend it. He shoved a man who was only doing his job, and no crash, no adrenaline, no revving bike makes that acceptable. He owns it completely. But the story the internet told itself, the cold-blooded bully attacking a helpless volunteer, is not the story the volunteer is telling. Ladislav says the bike revved in his own hands. He says it was an accident. He says Bezzecchi misread him, apologised like a man who meant it, and deserves the best of luck. The only person who earned the right to stay angry used it to forgive instead. Everyone else used a clip they watched once, on a phone, with the sound up, to convict an entire career. Bezzecchi will carry that ban and that footage for a long time, but he carries it lighter than the mob screaming for his head, because the man he actually wronged already let him go, and Aprilia carries it straight into Assen, championship lead intact, with something to prove. So before you decide who Marco Bezzecchi really is, ask yourself one simple thing. Why did the only man with the right to stay angry choose to forgive, while the rest of us still refuse to? Let us know in the comments below, and once you do that, make sure to click on the video appearing on your screen right now.